Hi guys, today we are talking about how to create some a traveler's notebook out of an altered book. So here I have 3 books and I'm kind of going to use them to show you some really easy ways to create a sort of a junk journal out of an altered book. So here we have a Paperblanks book. It's from 2013, so it's quite a few years old. And I had intended to make this, an altered book and kind of put these other pages in, but I just left it at the time. So I'm going to show you, I found it the other day going through some boxes, so I want to show you how to do that. So and at the time I had chosen all these papers, but they're still all my favourites. They're light pinks, sort of blush pink, and then they have like the watermarks, the really intricate floral watermarks through them. So they're still some of my favourite papers, but I had collected these at the time and sort of made these inserts to go in. I was actually going to sew them in, but we're going to do something a little bit different today. We're just going to make more of a traveller's notebook so that you can take them in and out. And then what I had done as well is gathered some silk and just glued that around the edge of the front as well to sort of create that nice vintage sort of shabby style look. I really love these Everyman library books as well. This is a poem book, and you can get the poem books from several different poets, but I really enjoy the quality of the Everyman library, collection. But I wanted to use this book as well as a type of an altered book. I think I got this in a sale at one stage, and I never sort of used it, but I want to use it at some stage. So I'm going to show you just the first part of the process with this book, because I'd already done it to the other book. So this is another idea for a junk journal. If you wanted to do the most simple basic kind, would be just to get a binder, and then this one is from Australia. It's probably over 10 years old, and it was ECD, that was the brand, but it's probably the simplest way to do it, and just to collect a whole bunch of different book pages, magazine pages, scrapbook papers, any sort of papers, like old sort of collage papers or artwork that you've done, and just put them to size and, punch the holes and put them into a binder. And that is probably the simplest way to create a really nice junk journal. So I tried to do that, I guess, back in the day. So however old this is, I was trying to, create a junk journal. I just didn't really know how to do that. And I put those little ribbon bags from my sister. And so that is probably the first and the easiest way to create a junk journal, or, alter a book. And there's probably old planners that you might have that you could use to do that with a junk journal as well. But today we're just going to take the so you can see we need a blade, and then I'm using a hole punch. It's the crocodile one, so it's got a hole punch and the eyelet mechanism all in the one. So I'm pretty sure I picked this up on sale at Michael's. And so we're going to get into step 1 of the process, and that is to cut out the middle of the book. So if you're using an old book and you want to sort of alter it to create a traveller's notebook, or like a flowish journal, or just sort of an art journal or something like that, The first thing to do is to cut out the middle. So I want to try and keep a few of the first pages because I like those. I'd like them to stay in the book. So I'm going to see if that will work, if I can sort of cut it beyond that. But usually you would just open it straight to the first page and just do this step. And you can get some really beautiful old books as well, like old leather books and, you know, books at flea markets or the thrift shop, other things like that. You can get some really nice old book covers to do this with, and it's all the same process. You just cut the down the one side and then you cut down the other side. So normally they will come out a little bit better, but this one is also glued as well. So I am cutting it down and then I'm going to have to also just pull it away from the spine because of the glue. It's not something to worry about though. It comes away fairly cleanly, and then you can also always cover that up, you know, and that will help reinforce the spine as well. The other thing is when you're using a blade, be careful of the angle that you're doing it and just do it a bit more safely and slowly. I was doing it kind of from the wrong angle because of the camera there as well, so you can see here, this has only taken a few minutes to get this part organized, and then the next part will also only take a few minutes. So this really is, you know, probably under 20 minutes worth of a project, and then you've just got to pick which papers you want to put inside. So the nice thing about this is all those pages I will use in, you know, one journal or another. I really like the quality of the paper and the colour and the text. So here you can see I've already done this step to the other book, and that's kind of how it came out. And now at that stage you can actually use a bit of book cloth, you can use just some paper or book tape you can get off Amazon, and you can just use that to go down the centre. You could just use even like masking tape or something like that. And then you just want to decide like how many signatures you want in the book. So a signature is just basically a pile of papers that you fold in the middle to create one part of the book. And I think a good guide is usually about 8 to 10 pages, sometimes 6 if they're thicker papers. When you fold that, it'll give you, you know, somewhere between 16 to 20 pages or 32 to 40 front and back. So that's a good way to start. And then the more signatures you have, the you know, the thicker the book will get, obviously, but the signatures allow the book to open and lay flat, and it helps the binding to stay sort of structured. So here we're getting on to step 2 of the process, and this is just to grab some eyelets, and we're going to put 2 eyelets up each side of the book. So and here I'm just kind of seeing if the hole punch part which is at the side will reach to punch the holes where I want it to punch. I end up actually doing them a little bit too close together. Like I could have put this one further back at the front, because for some reason what I measured out here didn't translate to what I did on the you know, when I punched the holes. So I'm not sure what happened there, but I guess it's something where, you know, you can practice will help, and also you can you could make a template. So you could actually do this on another little strip of cardboard or paper, just to make sure you've got it exactly right first, and do sort of a practice and then make a template from that, and then use the template so that you know that you're going to get it in the right spot, which I didn't do here because it wasn't really, I wasn't too worried about how it turned out. This is old and I just kind of wanted to do it for the tutorial. I'm not sure if I'll use it or not, but if you wanted to, make sure that it was all in the right place, you probably want to just get a strip of paper that is as wide as your spine, and then you can just punch the holes and, measure everything out correctly, and then use that as a template. So I try again with the lower sort of side, and I actually get the spacing a lot better, and then I actually can pull out the top one that sort of, it was too close and it all creased funny, so it actually let me pull that out, and then I redid the top one, and it looked a lot better. But you can see there again how the bottom two are spaced a lot better. And then you can see how quick this was. So, now we have almost completed the sort of binding, or the cover for our altered book, Traveller's Notebook. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of elastic here and thread that through, and then we're done. So it's a really simple, easy process. So what you want to do is start from the inside to the outside on one, on the top or the bottom, and then just continue threading it like back and forward until you get to the other side of the notebook. So just, in, out, and then you can tie it up. Now I always like to leave it quite loose. I don't like to tie the elastic very tightly because I always like the elastic to be able to stretch to the pages. So when I first did this, I thought that I would sort of sew in two signatures, but I think now, and you could actually jump band them back to back like that, so you could get another bit of elastic, put it through the middle of both, and tuck it under that elastic if you wanted to put more, like if you had notebooks to put in there and you wanted to put more than one in. But I think I'm just going to put them all together and create one really large signature and just tuck that under the elastic. And so at this stage you could just do a really simple pamphlet stitch there to bind those together, or if you have a long arm stapler or something, but I am just going to pop those in as loose sheets and then sort of figure out, if I do want to use this eventually, or figure it out along the road. So that is basically it for today's tutorial, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I think I have a few things coming up that are pretty exciting as well. I think this would be a really nice project, especially since it's the beginning of the year, if you wanted to start a new journal, or like a junk journal planner, or anything like that. And then I'm just going to kind of show you what the pages would look like in here. So if you wanted to just punch holes in them and put them in there, they would be also really yummy in there. Okay, so I will see you in my next video. Bye.